everyone. Is our federal government out of control?
Yes.
Are our citizens, are the rights, our rights as U.S. citizens under assault?
Yes.
Should the federal government buy your next door neighbor a new car they can't afford and then expect you and me to pay for it? No. Who's going to bail out the banks next year when they can't make the payments? Should you be forced to bail out homeowners who are living beyond their means? Should you be required to pay for the health care of those who are here illegally and don't even pay taxes? No. Should Congress withhold our tax money until our state complies with their demands? No. That's what this is all about right here. Is Congress in direct violation of the Constitution? The very document they are sworn by oath to uphold that most of them have never even read? I submit to you today they are. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. That is the 10th Amendment of our United States Constitution, and that is the law of the land. We, the people, must defend ourselves against the tyranny of our government. There's a few points I want to make. The people created the federal government to be their agent for certain enumerated purposes only, and most of those are found in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. And we have some extra copies over here. If you would like to pick one up, we give away a lot of those. But we ask for, if you want to stick a couple dollars in the can, when you pick one up, that would be great. The Constitution does not include a congressional power to override state laws. If Congress had intended to carry out anything they claim would promote the general welfare, and someone told me that Medicare's in the Constitution. It's in the preamble. It says general welfare. Well, the Constitution cannot contradict itself. What they mean by general welfare is this: by using those certain enumerated powers and nothing more. The 10th Amendment was adopted to emphasize the fact that the states remained individual and unique sovereignties, and that they were empowered in areas that the Constitution did not delegate to the federal government. With this in mind, any federal attempt to legislate beyond the constitutional limits of Congress's authority is a usurpation of state sovereignty and unconstitutional. Tragically, the 10th Amendment has become almost a nullity at this point in our history, but there are a great many reasons to bring it to the forefront. Most importantly, though, we must keep in mind that the founders envisioned a loose confederation of states and not a one-size-fits-all solution for everything that could arise. The simple answer lies in the fact that they had just escaped the tyranny of a king who thought he knew how best to govern everything and everyone, even those colonies across the seas. Governments and political leaders are best held accountable to the will of the people when our government is local. How much more effect can we have on our government if they're making decisions right here in Salina, Kansas, or Topeka, Kansas, as opposed to those people up in Washington, D.C.? So I say that to say this: the proposed health care legislation is unconstitutional. And something else to note: the doctors that I've been in contact with, that my wife has been in contact with, they've said, you know what, if this bill passes, we're out of here. We're leaving. We're not practicing anymore. And they said a lot of our friends aren't either. So let's do the math. 1/3 of the doctors quit practicing. We add millions of people to the free health care. Does cash to clunkers come to mind? I'm sorry. If the federal government cannot manage a $3 billion cash for clunkers program, how are they going to take care of a $1.5 trillion medical program? Think about it, a small $3 billion program. And they said, oh, we were overwhelmed. We didn't have any idea that people would take advantage of it like this. Well, what happens when you give them free health care, they think? $1.5 trillion will soon be $10 trillion. Yes, there are some problems in the health care area. But that does not mean we turn it over to someone who can't manage any other entitlement program. We take care of the problems ourselves. I believe Social Security and Medicare, they're broke. They don't tell you that much, but they are. The healthcare reform that we hear so much about has absolutely nothing to do with healthcare. It's all about power and control for the federal government. They are trying to set up an oligarchy. Recently, the president stated that he is not going to give up on a government-run healthcare system. Well, Mr. President, we aren't either. We're not quitting. We're not giving up, and we're going to be here. And you can take that one to the bank, and that check won't bounce. Another funny thing I've noticed recently, where are all the war protesters? You know, a year ago, every week, war protesters here, war protesters there. It's a tongue twister. War protesters. Everywhere. You don't see them anymore. Funny thing. Mr. Obama never says anything negative about Islamic jihadists. Have you noticed that? But his cronies are sure quick to accuse us of terrorism, carrying swastikas, being out of touch with reality, astroturf, among other things. And he never disagrees or comes to our defense, does he? Why is that? Why doesn't he stand up for us? Because he sees us as the enemy. He sees the people of this country as his enemy. So why am I involved in this? Why do I put my family through this? It's a lot of work. Let me tell you why. Because my wife and I have 8 beautiful children. 7 daughters and 1 son. Ages 6 to 21. We have 3 grandchildren so far. And you know what? I don't want to be sitting in my living room 5 years from now with my grandchildren around me, telling them what it was like to live in a free country. One more thing real quick. The preamble to our state constitution begins like this. We, the people of Kansas, grateful to Almighty God for our civil and religious privileges. We, the people, grateful to Almighty God. I'm grateful. Are you grateful? Thank you.
Joe Winship, ladies and gentlemen.